Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, December the 14th, 2023. First, I do apologize for the length of last night's update. 45 minutes is a bit long for a daily update, but there was a lot of detail, and I guess I kind of went in a little bit too deep. So with that in mind, I am going to get right into this. I'm going to start with the S&P. And again, I'm just concentrating on the 1 hour chart and basically just counting out this last 5 waves up. So right now, we've gotten up to levels where I've been able to really reduce a lot of the Fibonacci levels that we had on the screen, really cleaning it up, making it a much more clearer picture. So what we did today is that we ended up early in the session, getting up to a high at 47.92. And that really was within that first hour. Actually, the high was 47.91.75. And from there, we finally did begin a fourth wave correction or a pullback, something more substantial than what we have seen since the beginning of this whole wave, which was on December the 7th here in the S&P. So what we have is we have a minute fifth wave that's still in motion. We have within it minuet waves 1, 2, and now 3 as complete. And that's also we have the sub minuets inside because the third wave subdivided into its own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that all completed today as well. Set us up for a clean break lower. Now, initially, the fibs that I had were like at 47.42, and that would have been 382. Well, let me just kind of go in and see what they were or are now. If we're looking, we're going to go from there, that low, up to that high. And 382, a little bit lower. It's at 47.24. So the 0.236 was 47.50, and it got through, it went through that and then quickly took it back. So it met the absolute minimum in terms of a fourth wave. The structure itself kind of looks ABC-ish, but giving the benefit of the doubt here, that could have been ABC-A, ABC-B, and we come back down in the C wave. So I'm leaving open. I'm using it. I'm marking it as complete, but with the sidebar of saying we need to allow for one additional move down to make it a super clean ABC down, and in which case we would find support, first of all, at the hourly 50 simple moving average, which is at 47.39. And then we have Fib's support at the 382 level, which is 47.24. So it all lines up. It's very clean right now, which is nice. And then, so my expectation after this is that we still have one more wave up, and that is a minuet fifth wave, which again is likely going to break down into its own 5 waves. So we have those, again, the sub-minuet degree, as I labeled here. And so we run the fibs, which we're comparing minuet wave 5, and that gets compared to minuet wave 1. And so here are those numbers. The first out of the box is always going to be equality. And equality is 40, that's an upper number, 47.93 is equality. That would push us to a new high. All right, we got up to 92, but I'd probably be looking for a little bit more than that. And that would bring us up to that next level. So the equality is number 1. Number 2 is 1.618, and that's at 48.22 or 48.23. Now, this one I actually can take off because while it's providing resistance right now, it should not actually be problematic for the wave continuing. because 0.618 was down here. That's what that one was. So I took it off for right now. It's finding that resistance also from the 20 and the 8, which are sitting right there as well. Those are the hourly 20 and 8 sitting there. And that's kind of what held it back. And the market's now closed. And we will, oh no, it's now closed. Right at that 2 o'clock my time in the Pacific. So what is it putting these up on my screen? Not nice. In any case, what we got going on. 4808 is the all-time high. So I do believe that we're going to break that all-time high. And it then goes into what we would consider irregular B territory. But if I'm considering that this level and then a real squeeze, 2.618 for that minuet wave 5, which would then complete minute wave 5, which would then complete what we have in terms of the minor degree, a minor degree C wave. So, and then we'll just keep moving up that scale. And is it going to be intermediate degree A, or are we bumping everything up? We're going to have to wait to actually fill in those blanks, because no matter what, when we're done with this 5-wave structure, we're looking for a turn in the market. Now, whether that turn is going to be of a smaller degree or really going to be building into a much larger degree, we're going to have to wait and see what the market actually begins to tell us. Right now, though, my outlook is that we will continue to move higher. And first off, we're leaving open the potential that the market may pick up a little bit more steam once it breaks again above the high, which is 47.92. That's going to suggest that this fourth wave is in. It's done just as I've marked it. And we're heading up to those next levels. Now, I have additional levels above here. In fact, I will go ahead and put them on because they just seem to be the ones that come into play. So we'll just go ahead and do that. And you can see we're already back up towards 4,900 above that. So they exist. And as we saw, as we were coming up, they exist. Now, back to the scene right now. For tomorrow, I would say that we have still upside to complete. Tomorrow is an expiration. It is a quadruple, I believe, or a triple witching, which suggests we have index options expiring, we have underlying options expiring, the stocks, and then we also have treasuries. I think some of the other commodity markets all have options that will be expiring tomorrow. So with that in mind, there's going to be some position adjustments as the market moves around. And so we could have some volatility and hopefully some good trading. So in lieu of that, I am suggesting that I will be leaving open the potential that the market is not done with this small fourth wave. And although we did reach that first level of support, 0.236, most common is 0.382, which is just down here at 47.24. So if the market should decide that it wants to come down an additional 22 points over, or actually more, from where it is going to be about 50 points from where it closed, that would put a nice clean downside move in down here, and then set the stage for this rally to again pick up and start to take off. Now, should that be the case, we will be making adjustments to these fib numbers that we put out, because the finishing point will be down here versus here. So there would be approximately a 22-point difference between where we mark it today to the possibility of where it would mark tomorrow. And actually, to be honest with you, it can come in here, it can come in here, but we'll just make the adjustment to be reflective of what the actual low for that wave 4 is, if indeed it is not 47.46. So S&P, we took care of that overbought condition that the market was carrying for a little bit. And now we're coming down. We're not into an oversold yet by any means, but we might get down there overnight. and then set the stage for that rally to continue. Now, whether it'll finish tomorrow, we have to wait and see. Wave 5 can break into its own. In fact, I would expect it to break into its own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, again, of that sub-minuet level. Wave 3 is already the longest wave, or so far. And so I'm not too worried that wave 5 is going to extend beyond extending. So again, we'll just wait and we'll see what comes out tomorrow. Over in the NASDAQ, oops, try that again. NASDAQ as well, and I made a slight adjustment to the labeling here in the NASDAQ, and that I had left it last night that it was just this sub-minuet wave 3 that was completing up here. But then that would have suggested that we probably should have maybe gotten this far. We went a whole lot further, and the selling did get not as intense as I've seen in my history, but it got pretty strong at certain points, as did the buying. So here's the deal. So I'm marking, I pushed the third on the sub level down, and the sub level also got rearranged a little bit. So it all fits. It's very clean. That did not overlap, so that works. And so everything kind of comes in as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. That I put the 3 on top of that. There comes this 4 right here. And then we launch higher in that 5th wave. And then that in turn completed the minuet 3rd wave. So what we began or started and maybe have completed would be that minuet 4th wave. Now, thus far, we got down to 16,628, and that's after touching or getting up to 16,000. What was this one? 16,885. So we got a nice little drop. We got over, from here, 16,885 to 16,628. So it's 200-point drop. So it was, not 200, 885 to 628. So nice drop, and then came back. Market did NASDAQ ended up closing down on the day, while the Russell saw another stellar day, and the Dow managed to close again at a new all-time high. So signaling possibly that the NASDAQ will be playing some catch-up, while the other markets maybe don't. Yet to be determined. In any case, I'm counting it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here are our 5th wave levels. As Elliott laid out, that the 5th wave is relatable to the 1st wave, and that's what we do. We measure that and then bring it over to the bottom of the 4th wave, and we can see that wave 5 would be equal to wave 1 at 16,944. And we're already in new high territory. So every time we cruise up yet again, like we did today, we're putting in a new all-time high and on a futures basis. Whether the NDX itself was making new all-time highs, I haven't gone over and looked yet. So, but futures basis, it has, and I would say that it shall continue to as it puts in this 5th wave. So equality. This one's already been it's not actually been reached, so I'm going to leave it right there. Might provide some resistance at 16,823. I don't expect the 5th wave to complete there. It would be fairly, not a gigantic failure, but big enough that I think it goes further. So the 100%, 16,944. Beyond that, that's most common. The next most common is 1.618, and that is at 17,135. That's that number right there. And then we have the minute 5th wave coming in here at 3.618. So could that end it? Yeah, it could. It could complete the picture and put a nice sizable move in. Don't forget, this is 17,140, 150, and we're at 16,819. No, 16,743. That was the close. And so going to 17,000, yeah, decent move up. So all things are still on the table. All things are possible. But what we have is a 1.618, 3.618 for the minute fifth wave, 4.236 next up should it cruise past here and get it past that the 618 for the fifth wave, which is in the same area. Then we have 4.236 for that minute fifth, and that's 17,336. 2.618, 17,456. If we continue to just blast, these are our next levels. This is the irregular B wave level in its proper Fibonacci area. 1.236, 1.382 would be those measurements. So when those come in again above 18,000, then above 19,000. Nothing is impossible at this stage. Not what we have seen thus far, and how the market has just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. I don't know if anybody got caught by surprise, but I have been anticipating that we need a decent sized pullback, and then we got it. So I'm going to look for this all to complete, and then we begin the next larger legs down. Moving averages, still pretty much in place, although the 8 turned and broke back below the 20. The 20 is slightly turning. The 50 still heading higher, and the 200 is still heading higher. And that is basically where I'm going to conclude for today. Let me just double check. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow is an expiration. Also on Friday, we have the 8:30 a.m. and Empire State Manufacturing Survey. And a big change in that one. We have what the median forecast is against the previous. The median forecast is 4%, and the previous was 9.1. So I'm not sure how that reads. 9:15 industrial production and 9:15 capital utilization. So both of those come out together, and that's it for tomorrow, along with the expiration. And that's where I'm going to complete it for today, hopefully coming in well under 45 minutes. My apologies. I wish everybody a very happy trading day tomorrow, happy expiration tomorrow. Hope it all works out for everybody. And the next update will be on Sunday, December the 17th.